Welcome back to Around the World. You know, if you're in love and you might think about getting married, and then you might think, a honeymoon. Well, think again. Sometimes people spend a fortune on honeymoons, and a lot of people are disappointed. You know, you already bought the ring, all right, guys, and then you got to pay for a honeymoon that may be supposed to be spectacular.
Right.
You know, somewhere you got to cut things. So when you come back, you live in a cardboard box. No.
Priorities.
You know, there's a way to do it, and there is a gentleman that's joining us today, Russell Hannon, who is a travel writer and founder of Break the Travel Barrier. Joining us on the phone today. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning, Arthur, Martha. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us today, and we're especially interested on, well, how, you know, people who are planning a honeymoon, for example, can do it without spending a fortune, but still getting a lot of romance. And you have some ideas on that.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, many newlyweds are juggling a lot of things. If you look at demographics, many are earlier in their careers, so their salaries aren't quite what they will be down the road. Many are repaying student loans. And like you said, they have to juggle the cost of a wedding. I was reading an article last year in the U.S. The average cost of a wedding was about $28,000, according to CNN Money. And then you put the cost of the honeymoon on top of that. And, of course, many honeymooners' expectations are sky high through the roof. They say, if I have one perfect trip of my life, this one's going to be it, and I'm not going to let a dollar get in the way of that experience.
Boy, that's a good way to end a divorce fast, huh? I mean, one of the problems is, I guess people tend to get married in, you know, springtime, and by the time they go on the honeymoon, they're going to be going in June, which is a big peak season.
That's right, and a lot of the most popular honeymoon destinations are expensive places. Hawaii, Italy, which I know you're speaking of today, France, Fiji are some of the more popular ones. And you know, I have to laugh. There's a survey I saw last week, just coincidentally, on honeymoons. Of 2,000 respondents, it was a travel website that had done this. 2/3 of people were saying that they're more excited about the honeymoon than their wedding itself.
Yeah. Hey, I wonder if could you ask your guests that are coming to the wedding just to help contribute to the honeymoon?
That's not unheard of.
Is it not?
No.
I mean, you know, forget bringing me a silver pitcher.
Help send me on a trip.
You know, bring me part of an airline ticket or something.
Well, that's right. And there's a few ways you can do this. Actually, you can even extend beyond your wedding party with some trends that you have now. Like when you look at traditional registries, they were really intended to get newlyweds settled into their new home. And these days, people are living together long before they get married, so they've already got toasters and blenders and those things. And there's a few registry resources that a lot of people aren't aware of. For example, many airlines have registry programs that allow people to deposit points that they either buy for you or they can transfer from their personal account at a 1-to-1 ratio into your honeymoon registry.
That's a great idea. I didn't know that existed. That's a really good idea.
Well, there's a few airlines like U.S. Airways and United have them, and you don't necessarily have to live in the U.S. for this. You could live anywhere in the world if you're traveling to the U.S. for your honeymoon, and those airlines service your country or your region. You can use them equally, and now that's really mile specific. So if you said, well, you know, I'm looking for some help to cover my other costs related to my honeymoon, you can use traditional crowdfunding websites. Just some of them. There's fundmytravel.com, GoGetFunding.com, and what you do is you just set up a little profile with a picture, and you can say send Ron and Jean to Fiji, or get Jack and Jill out of their nest for their honeymoon. And what's great is you can reach beyond your wedding party to your entire social network. So I don't want to say that you can get ideas from people who aren't attending your wedding, but it gives you that extra reach, and nothing warms people up as much as people are going on a honeymoon.
Love is in the air. We like the love idea. Now, if you want to go traveling somewhere romantic, and there are a lot of romantic places that are not the Hawaiis of the world or the south of France where the prices are going to be high. Where are some romantic spots that you would recommend people look at or consider?
Well, what I recommend is that people look for comparable destinations to what they want in lower-cost countries. For example, I just got back from the Philippines. I wasn't there on honeymoon, but I was down there. It's this beautiful island of Boracay, and it's comparable to going to the Caribbean, but the cost was probably just about a quarter of the cost of being in the Caribbean in terms of hotel, food, all those things. Of course, there's the time that it takes to get there, but that's something that I suggest. And there's some closer destinations, Nicaragua or Costa Rica, where you can get that equivalent experience for for a reasonable budget.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there are some packages you can buy which includes airfare. I notice, not that I would say that Atlantis and the Bahamas would be a romantic, you've been there, getaway. It might be better once you have kids, right, to go there. But a lot of times they offer, these hotels that are casino-based offer all kinds of freebies because they're trying to get gamblers out there.
That's right. That's right. Well, something that I preach quite a bit is that you can really make a quantum leap in how much you travel by using leverage. And when you look at newlyweds, well, what can they leverage? Well, one is the cost of the wedding. They have to pay for the wedding. And online malls right now are trying to lure people from bricks and mortar, and they're offering 5, 10, 15 points per dollar spent. And there's a lot of things for weddings, everything from rings to dresses, photo albums, flowers, invitations. You can get all those things through these portals and get 15 points per dollar spent, and actually, if you really maximize that, you can get a handful of free flights in points just by intentionally using online shopping portals.
And also, if you got married in, say, May or June, you might want to postpone the honeymoon until maybe September, October, when it's not as expensive and not as crowded.
Yeah.
Well, myself, I prefer to go to Europe in the spring and in the autumn. It's not quite as busy. It's not quite as hot. The temperature for myself, it's a bit more comfortable in terms of what I'm used to. And something else that newlyweds can leverage, sometimes at the life stage where they can qualify or they need to get a credit card, and there's a number of credit cards that offer free flights as a sign-up bonus. So you can, if you're going to be paying for your wedding through portals, you'll need a credit card, and there's a number that you can get that the sign-up bonus. If you and your fiance each get one, you're getting 2 free flights just for signing up for them, using them to pay for your wedding, and you've got a handful of flights there. And literally, you can fly free for over a year just by doing this and being very intentional.
I heard about through one of our regulars who was on the show, the Points Guy. About credit cards that are incredible for travel. And I always thought the American Express Platinum was like the go-to card.
Yeah.
But for folks who may be looking for a credit card that will get you everywhere and get you a ton of points, the Chase Sapphire card. By the way, this isn't an ad for them, but I'm so happy with them. You get a 50,000 point credit just for signing up with them and spending $3,000 over 3 months or something.
Yeah.
And then a lot of things you get 2 for 1 on the points. So like meals, you get 2 for 1, gas, I think, another thing like that. It's really an amazing credit card, and it's metal.
And do we know?
Feel it. No, you don't go shopping.
Do we know how easy it is to put the points in?
Oh yeah, they all transfer like any points. You can put them in any program, any airline program. They accept them.
Well, yeah, I think the key thing is to be responsible as long as you're paying it off every month. For honeymoon specifically, something I like to mention on the side is don't be shy to say it's your honeymoon. Again, nothing warms people up like saying that. And I know somebody who just didn't even intentionally mention it when she was checking in with her husband to the hotel. And actually, the second day they were there, they got back to the room and there was a little handwritten note with a bottle of champagne and some chocolates. And you shouldn't expect those things, but even if you don't get anything, just when you mention it's your honeymoon, it really lightens everybody up around you, and it really enhances everything.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
We do that when we go on our...
Russell, these are great tips. People want to know more. Your website is called breakthetravelbarrier.com?
Yes, that's correct.
And can they find other things from your site?
Well, there's a free guide on the site, how to beat the best online fare every time, every flight, how to leverage best price guarantees and price drop protection and those sorts of things. My Facebook page also gives timely advice, so I put postings up there every couple of weeks. So the Facebook page is also called Break the Travel Barrier.
Terrific.
Great.
Well, we sure appreciate
Yeah.
your good advice, and thank you for taking the time to join us on Around the World.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you very much.